Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be looking at custom visual development in Power BI. This is kind of the end result of some of the shenanigans around the drill down choropleth and all of that. Finally, inspired me to actually take a look at custom visual development, how it's done, and that. And there is a decent tutorial out there that will basically be more or less following along with, although there's some certain parts that they kind of leave out, and I'll be showing you some of the hiccups along the way, if you will, that you can get into. Okay, so for us to do this, the first thing that we need to do is we need to use Visual Studio Code. Um, Probably one of my least favorite IDEs that's out there, um, but it is apparently what you need to use to do this development. Not sure if you can do it in full Visual Studio or not. This is the path they send you down. It's kind of the same with Power Query custom connector development. They kind of send you down this Visual Studio Code path. All right, so to get into it, right, the first thing that you're going to want to do, you're going to want to create a new terminal here, which basically is just PowerShell. All right. And my code repositories are stored in OneDrive, Source, repos, right? So we're going to be here and we're going to create a new, and I made the mistake. First thing I made a mistake was like, the visual, the tutorial says, oh, go create a folder for your visual, blah, blah, blah. So I did that, and that's that PBI Viz circle, right? So if you could look at PBI Viz circle, I created that directory, and then I went to that directory and created and did the command to create the project, and of course it created a folder underneath that. So just FYI, if you want your directory to be at this level, right, then you just want to go to like where your repos are created, and then you're gonna run this command. This command is called PBI viz create, and then let's call it my custom visual, right? Go do that. Oh, apparently I did something wrong. New. Oh, wouldn't you know it? PBI new. And there it goes. So what this should do is this should create a folder called My Custom Visual, and then it should have all the project files in there, if you will. And just while, all right, oh, so it's back. It says it was created. So now if we do a dir here, you have My Custom Visual. Change my casing a little bit, but we're used to that with DAX, right? DAX likes to munge our casing so that for whatever reason. So yeah, shouldn't expect anything less from custom visual development, right? So now if I go and I look at my custom visual, right? So there are the files that make up the custom visual. So I can open this folder, open folder. Let's put down here to source, repos. If I can find it. There it is. My custom visual, select folder. So now I can open this folder up in Visual Studio Code. And so here I can actually go in here and take a look. Yeah, sure, I trust them. Why not? I can go here and take a look at so it's a bunch of JSON files and things like that. So that is the step one. So let's go back to our terminal. If I can find my terminal again. New terminal? Yes, my terminal closed. Okay. So now I am in my custom visual, right? So I can do what next command that you're going to run is called npm install. I don't know what I just did. I was trying to zoom in on that for you. Now, let's try that again. And I'll stay out of. This should install all the stuff that I need. All right, so that's the next step. And then you can actually run this visual by doing PBI viz start. Well, come on. All right, now, well, this is doing, okay, this is doing some stuff, right? Checking's doing blah, 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 doing what it's doing. Let's switch over to this guy. So you're going to need a report. So you can create a blank report or just use any report you want with in the Power BI service, right? And then what you need to do, first of all, to use this thing is you got to go to developer settings, don't save, and you got to turn developer mode on. Okay. Once you do that, then if we go back to this report, and I go and edit this report, you're going to get this little icon show up here, this developer visual icon that shows up. Now let's go back and check our Visual Studio Code. Okay, it compiled successfully. It should be running. So what we should be able to do is go back to here and pick this visual, right? And there you see that there's the visual. It's running. Now, probably the first time that you do this, it's not going to work. What you'll have to do is you have to go to this, and let's do a refresh here. You have to go to this. This is alt. There we go. HTTP, well, it's crossed out because there's no certificate, but you're going to localhost 8080 assets. And there's the PBIviz.json and the visuals.js. And so that's what basically when you do that PBIviz start, it's kind of starting up sort of some kind of little service that's out there that then this visual can access when it go in and it connects to there and then renders the visual. All right. So the rest of the visual, the rest of the tutorial really is around customizing this so that it displays like a circle with a number in front of it and all of that sort of stuff, right? So we're not going to go into all of that. Maybe I'll save that for another video, but I'm going to show you then, how do you get your PBI viz file, right? Because that's ultimately what you're going to, that's your compiled visual that you could then use to import, going over here and say, click the ellipses and say, import a visual from a file, right? That's how you could actually run it so that when you're not in developer mode, right? Okay, so let's take a look at that. Let's go back to here. I believe we have to hit Control-C to jump out of that. So Control-C breaks it out of that process. So the next thing that you're going to want to do to create your PBI viz file is you're going to do PBI viz package. Okay. Now this is going to fail. Well, I'm pretty sure this is going to fail because there's certain things they don't tell you. At least they don't seem to tell you. Let's zoom in on this. So it's sitting there trying to do stuff. We should see some errors pop up here in a second. Come on. Info, start packaging. There's the errors right there. If you saw them, if you zipped by here. Error, author name is not specified. Author email is not specified. Visual description is not specified. Support URL is not specified. And if you actually then go look, there is no PBI viz file that's out there. In fact, and so I've never actually gotten one of these to compile yet. Probably should have done that before I started this, but what the heck? We're going to learn together. All right, so here we have this JSON file. Don't ask me why it's not formatted properly with line breaks, etc., but it's not. So description is, my description. Now we have a description. support URL. Let's put in http gregdeckler.com, right? And let's scroll over here. We'll say my author name is Greg Deckler, and you can reach me at gdeckler.gmail@gmail.com. Now, I don't know if these all have to be valid email address or a valid URL. I have no idea. But we'll put in valid, at least valid things for these things. All right, we're going to save that. And now we're going to try this again. We're going to do PBI viz package. And let's see if we can get it to work. Local valid certificate not found, but it's just a warning, so that shouldn't cause us any kind of grief. Okay, so it looked like it should have worked. So now if we do a dir, and let's see, star.pbiviz/s. Well, let me search for it over here. Pbiviz/s. Okay, there it is. So it put it in distribution. So dir diest. There it is. So there is our PBI viz file with, looks like it created a nice long GUID on there with a version and all of that. So this in theory should be, well, I guess we could maybe try it. Do I have Power BI loaded up here? I did. I was playing around with that Chloropleth visual, doing some investigation there. So now let's do this. Let's say import a visual from a file. We're going to point it to source, repos, my custom visual, dist, that guy. Okay. Import was successful. Maybe like this. Okay. Yep, there we go. Look at that. Works. So there you go. I mean, that in a nutshell is what you're going to need in order to develop custom visuals. Obviously, we haven't gone in through all the code to develop, all the JSON code and all that sort of stuff that we would need to actually have a useful visual. Again, I'll probably save that for a later video. But if you wanted to learn how to, code the essence of coding a custom visual in 15 minutes or less, then hopefully this video was useful. So that's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.